So in the last lesson, we set up this home page so we could view all the to-dos and actually interact with them. So we can slide to the left to delete a to-do, but then we ran into a problem. When we slide to the right, even though we set up the logic to complete the to-do, when we click it, nothing happens. And that's because we're not filtering these to-dos at all. And not only do we want to filter it, we want to leave a button down here at the bottom when there is some completed to-dos to go to a separate screen so we can see those. And then eventually, if we want to delete the completed to-dos as well, have an option for that. So we want to first filter these to-dos into a separate list of to-dos called active to-dos. After that, we're just going to take all the to-dos and find where each to-do item, the completed field, is equal to false. Not flas. False. There we go. And turn that back to a list. Okay, so now we have the active to-dos. Let's replace that here. So we want to show the item count. We want to do to-dos. We want to make sure it's the active to-dos. So save that there. Text, we also want to make sure it's the active to-do index because now we're just going to be looping through the active ones. So the content has to be for the active to-dos now. So if we save this, you'll see this edit goes away because we completed it before and the state was correct. Now I actually need to reload the application because we changed the way this works. So after reload, now we can go to this and click record, add to do, and if we complete it, it goes away. But we don't want it to just go away. We want to be able to actually access that. And to do that, we're going to add a button at the bottom. So the easiest way to do it is add 1 to the item count. And then if our index that we're looping through is equal to the active to-dos dot length, then we want to return something other than this. Otherwise, we want to return this slidable. And here we want to check another thing, if the completed to-dos is empty or not. So here, we can copy the same exact logic, change this active to-dos to be completed to-dos, and then when we go to check it, we want to check whether the completed to-dos is true. Because if there's no completed to-dos, we don't want to show that button. But if there are some, we definitely want to. So in here, we're going to check whether the completed to-dos is empty or not. If it is empty, we want to just return a container with nothing. Otherwise, we want to return a center widget with a child of text button that says completed to-dos, and then when we press it, we want to navigate to our completed to-do screen. And I'm just going to copy paste the navigation we have to our add screen here. A little too many brackets here, and there we go. So there you see it pops up because we didn't have that one completed to do. But we haven't defined that screen yet, so let's Control A, copy all this because it's going to be pretty similar. Go to our completed page. I'm going to paste it, change this name to completed to do. Now we're not going to need to worry about the active to-dos. We just need to be worried about the completed to-dos. Here, we're not going to need a button at the bottom, so we don't need to add +1. We can remove this whole first thing we did and just return the slidable widget. And I want to change the length of this to be completed to-dos.length and to return the text for our completed to-dos instead of the active to-dos. And we can also remove this floating button because we're not going to be adding anything there. And actually, one more thing, we don't want to be able to have the option to even complete a to-do. So we can remove that but we definitely still want to be able to delete a to-do item. So now, if we save it, we go back to the home screen, change this from add a to-do to completed to-dos, and we save it. Let's reload it to make sure all the updates are changed. We click record. We have an edit to do. If we click a check mark on the record to do item, we should see a completed to do's pop up. And if we go here, we'll see we have the record option with no ability to complete it, but we're still able to delete it. And now if we go back, the completed to do's isn't there anymore. And then we can actually delete this edit as well. So next lesson, we're going to make this app a little bit prettier because now it's pretty basic and, we want to make sure it looks good.